Hi, in this episode, we had the best time.
We sure did.
We had the opportunity to candidly speak with the senior minister, Reverend Sherri James, about her role as a senior minister and relationships.
Yes, that was very, very interesting. You guys are really going to enjoy this episode. We're talking about a senior minister that's over a church, and then we're also talking about an entrepreneur.
A successful female entrepreneur
Right.
who's getting ready to be able to balance life, motherhood, senior minister, and a relationship. So
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. This power couple is building stronger marriages one day at a time. Talking about real issues on love, relationships, and marriage longevity. Let's break down the barriers and engage in healthy conversation with your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie. Take a seat and buckle up because things are about to get real.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Loving Beyond the I Do.
With your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie.
That's me. All right, so who do we have with us today?
We have the Reverend Sherri James with us today, babe.
All right, let's bring her on in.
All right, let's bring her on in here.
All right. So, Reverend Sherri, how are you today?
I am so good. I'm so excited to be with you guys today.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm an ordained minister. My church is Understanding Principles. We're located in Los Angeles. Our services are virtual right now, so you can catch us on YouTube, youtube.com/upchurchla, or you can go to our website, upchurch.org. I am also an entrepreneur and a financial professional. I am the director of operations for EFC Wealth Management. We are LA's go-to boutique retirement planning firm, and we are there to meet all your needs to help you bridge that gap out of the working world into retirement. And then finally, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm also the founder of the Sherri James Company, and I have a training company that trains ministers and ministry leaders how not to be broke.
Well,
amen to that.
Amen. All right. Saw a need and feel that need, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Wow, you do a lot there, Reverend Sherri. Go ahead on.
I do, but you know what? I have a team. I have a team, and all of this happens because of my team. There would be no way to pull any of it off without people helping me to execute in these different areas of my life.
I totally agree, right? The team is the backbone.
The team is the secret sauce to win.
All right.
And get a team before you think you can have one.
All
Okay,
right,
I like
all
that.
right.
I like that.
So on our podcast, we talk about relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk about relationships and how the ministry and relationships kind of tie together.
Right. While you're teaching them not to be broke. You know what? One thing that I heard a relationship is with not enough money coming in. So
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about you personally. So
Sure.
when we're dealing with relationships, do you find time to pursue the relationship part, or has being a strong woman and a reverend kind of
make it a little bit more difficult.
a little bit more difficult, or kind of
Yes.
put it on the back burner?
Yeah.
Yes. First of all, that's a great question. So first of all, I believe that there is a top for every pot. So
Okay.
the idea of the strong woman just being a repellent to love, I just don't subscribe to that idea. And
Amen.
I don't need every man. I just need my one man. So I do not at all believe that my strength is a weakness when it comes to relationships.
All right.
And I'm in a season right now where I'm single and I have not made time for a relationship. There are some things that are on my plate as a single mom. I'm raising my great nephew. There are some things on my plate as an entrepreneur. I have a company, and as well as I participate in other companies. And so there really just hasn't been room for that in my experience.
For that pot top.
But
Sherri, as pot is.
But I know that there's a top for every pot, and I am not worried.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So how long have you been a mom?
I have been a mom. Let's see, he was 14 months when he came to live with me. So 7 years. He's 8 now. So 7.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I jumped into motherhood. Let me say that. Do you guys have kids?
Three.
Yes, 3 of them.
You have
3 adult children.
3. Oh God. Oh.
Yeah. We've been through the phase that you're about to go through.
We can empathize with you because right now we're empty nesters.
Yeah,
and
we're sitting on the other side right now enjoying it.
Baby, it is the best thing since sliced bread. But anyway.
I am low-key jealous because here's the thing. I'm not a young mom. I'm not a 20-something mom, right? So all my friends got grown kids. who, by the way, apparently don't want to earn money babysitting. Like, what is rich kids? Like, so
our kids, this generation, they're rich kids. They don't want to work. They don't want to earn it. They don't want to babysit. You got to excuse me with that. Okay.
Yes. So I say all that to say that I feel like I got jumped in to motherhood because, y'all had 9 months. You probably took pictures and photos. You probably had a shower. It was all this, like, the family is excited, the kid is coming, and there's all this conversation, and you picking names. So there's like a prep period, right?
Right.
So by the time you're like in the water boiling and going through all the stuff that comes with parenthood, you've been,
you're ready. You're prepared.
Not me. I got jumped in.
You got pushed. You got pushed in.
I got jumped into this game.
So when you said did you say I haven't found time for a relationship? Were those your words? I haven't found time for a relationship.
If I said found, I would say that I misspoke because I believe that we create our own experience. And so I'd like to rephrase
and you may not have said that. You may not have said that.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to rephrase that and say I haven't made time.
There you go.
Okay, maybe you said that.
Because it's your choice.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so here's what I mean. It may be an unconscious choice, right? Like,
Right.
I would like to be in a relationship, but I realize I haven't made time to make that a part of my experience.
Sure.
But the making of it, a little bit of it is unconscious, but I never want to suggest that my experience is beyond my control and where
Absolutely.
I'm ascribing power to something outside of me that, the good ones are taken or, all of that nonsense. No, I create my own experience. Now, I can create something different, but I've got to acknowledge that, no, I haven't made time.
So in that not making time, because of the requirements that it takes to be a minister, the requirements that it takes to be a mom, that even though a relationship, even though we all want that top, do you think that maybe subconsciously you think, well, that's not really as important as being a minister and being a mom right now? Like, that's my top priority. So if that was like you said, we draw to us, right, our experiences. So if it's trying to be drawn to you, do you think you're kind of repelling it in a way?
Oh, for sure. Anything that's not in your experience is something that you don't have the consciousness for. So 100%. If it's not there, the foundation for it is not there, right? Because foundations always precede form. If I'm just, practicing self-awareness.
Absolutely.
I would say that there's a part of me that honestly doesn't know how to make time. The things that are on my plate really mean something to me. They're valuable to me. And I don't know where it fits. And so maybe there's a coaching opportunity there. Hey, Jason and Tina Marie. Maybe there's a coaching opportunity in my future to learn how to make time for that. But I really love with the things that I'm doing. I love raising my son. I think he is the most amazing child ever. I'm impressed every day by his giftedness and just all the things that he brings. And I have a lot of joy in that. And I'm jazzed by the business that I do, the work that I do to support retirees, to help them to grow and expand and live a full retirement. And I love my business. Like, I'm excited for what I'm creating and the lives that are being changed. Like the clarity around helping ministers not be broke is a really big deal to me. That one, because I was that broke minister. So
okay, all right.
And I was looking around saying, this is no way to do ministry.
Absolutely.
And my predecessors largely were able to do ministry because they were married or they were in relationships. I'm speaking of women specifically.
Okay.
Men, different story, but they had husbands that basically covered the bills, so then they were free to do ministry.
Okay.
And so then they could give those long hours and be there for every meeting. And
But that was your opportunity.
right, exactly. Right. And so I had to look and say, hey, how do I do this differently? And I stumbled across some secrets to wealth building and financial freedom that now I created the Sherri James Company so that I can support other ministers and ministry leaders in not being broke. Like, ministry should not break you. Ministry should feed you.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And you,
Yeah.
I definitely know,
Yes.
definitely know a couple of broke ministers that could probably use the Sherri
Right.
James.
Right, exactly. And you know,
Right,
and know what's funny
right.
is, are you getting a true message if you looking through the lenses, everything is about money?
I have found that when you are stressed about money, that it compromises your creativity, that you make desperate decisions when you don't have enough money. And it just, imagine life where you're not thinking about how you're going to pay the next bill. What else could you do with that mind space? And so what I found was that my creativity was compromised. My ability to be present was compromised. There were so many ways that I was not showing up, doing my best work. And when I learned how to solve for the money problem, it changed everything. And all of a sudden, my ministry took off. I was able to establish vision.
Right.
Mhm.
It's hard to be a visionary when
when you're thinking about those bills.
Wait, it's hard to be a visionary when you open your eyes and the lights are still off, right?
Come on. And go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Sherri. Go ahead.
So I learned that people who operate in abundance plan 1 to 3 years out. People who operate in scarcity plan maybe 30 days out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big, ouch, somebody.
Yeah.
But once I learned how to really manifest money, once I really, really got that down and understood how to do that, literally I could begin to make those 3 and 5 and 10-year plans. And it didn't feel like fruitless, or it didn't feel like, you really should be paying attention to how you can get through the next month. Like,
Right.
3 years out, like the next 30 days, it was crucial. Once I learned how to manifest money, that was a game changer for me.
All right. So I'm going to take you back to, and as you said, you haven't made the time to do that. At what point do you say, okay, now it's time for me to let that relationship come in? Because that top is waiting for you. And he's out there going,
Right. He's like, I'm ready to put it.
So they're out there going, where is my pot? How come I can't find my pot? So Sherri, my question to you is, when do you say, all right, I'm going to stop boiling all these things. I'm going to stop boiling all these potatoes, and I want my pot to help me to cook this meal?
This metaphor is everything. So interesting you should say that. This year was probably, 2022 was probably the first time when I sat down and looked at the year and said, where do I want to be? When I get to December 31, 2022, what does life need to look like in such a way that 2022 don't owe me nothing?
All right.
There you go.
Right.
And so what I decided was that this year is that year for a relationship. And
isn't that something? Woo! Look at us. That is something.
And that you would reach out and extend the invitation to be on this podcast. And
absolutely. One mind.
Right.
Amen.
And a year ago, I would have turned down even having a conversation about
right.
Like, call me for the money podcast.
Right.
I know how to make money, and call me for that. So so it's interesting how all of this is coming together.
Mhm.
This is that year. So my commitment to myself was that I would take a step that would just be a step in faith, meaning that I would make the best step that I knew how to make, not attached to whether or not it turned out to, worked out the way that I wanted it to. And so one of my first quarter goal is that I was actively going to set up a paid, meaning I'm gonna put some skin in the game, a paid online dating profile. I have been resistant to doing anything like that. Haven't done it yet, but we are about halfway through the quarter. I still got another 6 weeks.
So
Now, wait a minute, don't wait till the last minute, right? Say,
Right,
I made that goal, right?
Right. I got 2 days left. I got to hurry get it out there. I'm gonna push it out there,
Right.
but I did it.
Right.
So I know. Shout outs to Reverend Fanny, who always says, "One mind, one divine plan."
Yes.
So you put it out there, Sherri, right? You said, "So this is my year to not go with expectation of this is what I want it to work,
Right.
but I'm open to the possibility of a relationship."
Yeah.
So if we're going in that direction, and jump in anytime because I know I have a tendency of overtaking.
Yeah, you know you do. That's all right. That's all right.
So I have a tendency of talking.
Mhm.
So what is, because we all have an idea of a relationship, right?
Mm.
And we have to come into that relationship healthy, knowing what a healthy relationship is.
Right.
Right. So on our Friday night live podcast, we do a Friday night live, and she talked about don't come on a date dumping your entire purse out, right? right. And we know you wouldn't do that.
No, right. You're like, I don't want to deal with this, and this. Okay, now we're good.
But when I say that, saying, well, sort of like, tell me a little bit about yourself. That may be dumping your purse out, right? A guy says, tell me about yourself. And, well, I'm a minister and I'm a mom and I have my own, I'm an entrepreneur. And
Right.
he
And
might
they
be
constantly shrinking
doing
down
this.
in their seat.
Right. So how do you see yourself approaching that path of relationship?
The short answer is, I don't know.
I don't want a short answer.
I like the short answer because sometimes
because no, Sherri told us
Yeah,
that she is the creator
right.
of everything.
Yeah, but she hasn't created like her online profile and stuff like that. So she's still she's still working on this.
She ain't created. I don't think she created much. Come on, Sherri, give us some. We need some thought. We need some meat.
I have 6 more weeks to deliver on this first quarter goal. But let me say this. What I have done is I have written out my vision. I wish I had it, but my book is somewhere else. But I have written out my vision for my relationship. And the vision that I have for my relationship is that it's a world-class relationship. That I recognize that it'll be a blended situation, that he may have kids. Mm-hmm. and I have a kid, so that'll be a blended situation. And so I have thoughts about like how do we accomplish that so that no one feels left out in that process, mm-hmm. and that the needs of everyone in the group is met. I have a vision for what family time looks like and the priority that's placed on family time. I have a vision for what it looks like managing money. I'm sure you guys can attest to just how money can be a point of contention.
Absolutely.
In relationships, and that it can break a relationship. Mm-hmm. I have a vision for what health looks like. There's a health journey that I'm on. Last year, I released 40 pounds and counting. So I have a vision for what my world-class health looks like and what that means inside of a relationship. So there's some thinking that I've done around a relationship. And what I do on a daily basis is revisit that vision. And sometimes I tweak it because sometimes I'll get revelations for, ask for this or put this in there. And I also have a vision or purpose for what the relationship is for. So it's not just to have someone, but right. It is an opportunity for us to have greater impact in the world. And so it's a partner in philanthropy. It is a partner in raising my son. It is a partner in just growth. I love personal development. I think of personal development and spiritual development as being synonymous, because the end for both of them is to get the best of you out into expression. So that's the behind the scenes work or foundation that I have laid. The practical piece of it, well, yeah.
So
6 weeks.
That's right.
No.
Does he have to be in ministry, or it doesn't really matter at this point?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that he has to be in ministry. I find that I tend to attract type A men. They tend to be business owners. In fact, I'm trying to think. In the past, I can't think of one that I have dated that hasn't been a business owner in some form. Even if they were an entrepreneur, they had a business. So that tends to be who finds and who is attracted to me. It's the guy that likes that strength. Mm-hmm. And that is actually turned on by that strength.
Instead of threatened by it. Absolutely.
Right. Instead of threatened by it. Right. So that's why I say I don't worry about being a strong woman, or, because I've heard when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I had a woman tell me, you need to, kind of tone down how assertive you are, tone down how,
your strength. Yeah.
You are. And, I didn't have the words for it then. I have the words for it now, is that, the way that God created me is exactly how God created me. If I was created this way and God doesn't make any mistakes, then there's probably a top for this pie.
You got it.
That's really it. And so I'm not even moved by the men who are not attracted to me. I'm not your type.
Right. And you know what? That's funny, because that goes in for coaching too. It's like you can't coach everyone. You know what? If we don't jive, then we're not the coaches for you. So that's fine.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
you know what? We had a podcast with a young lady that really pretty much did the same thing. She wrote down her goals and what she wanted in a relationship and the person that she was looking to meet. Lo and behold, the person that she ended up, marrying did the same thing.
Wrote down his goals and what he wanted in a woman, and they both were that list. Absolutely, they were that pot and that top.
Yep. And when they came together, it was something. And then they thought, well, I had a list for this, and it's like, so did I. And then they pulled out their list, and they just like as they were checking it up, it's like, wow, we were basically on each other's list. We were there, pretty much the exact list.
But I also want to say we also had a podcast with a young lady she wrote a book on blended to perfection.
Yes.
So she had a family and he had a family, and they learned all the things that you wanted. But so you can look that podcast too, how to blend to perfection. But the other thing is that all of those things are great. And I say this because we've been married 31 years.
Wow.
So
seemed like yesterday, baby.
I know, right? Yeah. but it seems like you have every room in the house decorated. So these are my metaphors, right? I don't know why these all these metaphors with you. Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with it.
It seems as though you have, when I say you have every room in the house decorated, but you don't know the house you want. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, so you want to, he's probably going to be an entrepreneur, right? Because you are, and you have to be going in the same direction. You can't, you got to have the same goals, the same aspirations. Probably a blended family. You're saying, okay, well, I'm not 20 anymore. Men are out. Right, might be his second or his third marriage, and he finally found it. But I'm looking for that vision into what you see into that soul, not what he does, but who he is, how he, what is your idea when you think of relationships in complimenting me in a way that not only fulfills all of my visions, but takes it to the next level of what I could have imagined. So I want us to go deeper. Sherri's like, why did I say yes to this?
Right. I like being on.
Sherri's like, why did I say yes to this podcast?
Yeah, it kind of remind me of someone said that her second husband, watered her the way that she needed to be watered. And that metaphor was basically because of gardening, because she likes gardening. So, he's like, he waters me the way I needed to be watered.
Exactly. Good point. So I'm saying, where in that vision does it say, this is what shows Sherri love? This is what I want and need and feel.
Yeah.
I know Sherri's going to hang up and go, doggone it. Why did I say I want to have a relationship this year? All right, give it to us, Sherri. And I don't, go ahead. And I don't want no world-class answer. I don't want the world-class. I want some details.
Some details, right.
Uh-huh.
So everything you said, yes, that's exactly it. I want someone that I love and that I love to be loved by.
Absolutely.
Right? Meaning that I've had the relationships where they wanted me more than I wanted them.
Okay. Yeah.
And where I wanted them more than they wanted me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that didn't work, right? Because it kept, depending on which one it was, kept both of us in a imbalance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't it made the relationship feel desperate on one end or the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm really, what I'm calling forward is that relationship where the desire for him, from him for me, and from me for him is together. And I believe that that's possible, if nothing else but the fact that I thought that it could be. And if I can think it, it can be. But I would also say that it's important that that this is somebody who gets that I love reading and that I'm into personal development. I actually can't imagine being with somebody who's not into personal development. Sure. I see the relationship being an opportunity for us to grow together. I believe that people that grow together never grow apart. Mm-hmm. Sexual exploration, like I feel like that's a major piece of it, right? Like I don't want to say
you gotta laugh. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Don't come to me with nothing not working. Like, let me just.
Sherri!
Hey, listen. This is her list.
You're going to need to have gone to your doctor and worked out your diet, and because most things are tied to what you put in your body.
For sure.
Worked out your diet, worked out all your stuff, so that hey, you can
sexually exploring. We're ready to,
which is totally reasonable, because a lot of times, especially for African American men, as we get older, we slack on our health.
There you go. That's it. So, and that health is a priority.
Yes.
Health is a priority. That meaning that you work out and you eat properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to keep this to not eat the kids' snacks, okay?
Right.
But the grown folks' snacks be the snacks you really want, right? So don't come in this house bringing no chips, no pizza, and other stuff, right? Right? Also a love of travel. There are times when I'm a homebody, but really I like to see the world. And I imagine my relationship being somebody that I can travel the world with, that we are, that we're people who collect memories as opposed to things, and that we're intentionally making memories, that we recognize that we're responsible for the memories that we create and that we create together. I want somebody who, I don't know what it feels like. Relationships would be easier because you're older, because you're just out of the silly phase.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems like, but probably not. So I would want somebody who's there to really stick it out, right? And interested in making it work. Right. I love what you have, is that a happy marriage is not something that you just let happen. Is a happy marriage is something that you make. Yeah. So I imagine somebody who is committed to figuring it out.
Right.
So learning me and someone who's interested in learning me. Right. Not someone who's enamored with me. Right. Or let me back up. You should be enamored with me.
Come on. That's right.
You know what I mean? Be my biggest fan, but don't be a groupie, right?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm bringing the same. I'm looking for that dude that I'm his biggest cheerleader, and I'm not a groupie, right? And I believe that that's possible. If nothing else, but the fact that I thought it.
No, it's possible.
The body.
Yeah, it's possible.
So, how much time have you invested in understanding relationships? Because I know when you were going into ministry, right?
You know, you study your books, your
because
readings.
I know when we decided to be a minister, like it was all everything on it. I'm getting everything, consuming everything.
Right.
So making that decision to go down the path of a relationship.
Yep.
How much time have we
dedicated to?
Well, we know she hasn't done the profile. We know she hasn't done the profile, so that right says she hasn't done too much.
But she may be doing some other behind the scene work, baby. You know?
She's just visioning.
Yeah. Well, she's got a detailed list.
I do. And I will tell you that most of my work right now is on visioning. And I haven't, but I do, that actually is how I move into anything in my experience, meaning that how I moved into health and established the health outcomes that I've had, that my process is to literally do a deep dive. So I'm reading, watching, and studying everything that I can get my hands on. I haven't reached that point as far as a relationship. Where I am right now with a relationship is just clarity around what I'm asking for. So no, I haven't taken the any challenges.
Well, not challenges. I just meant like.
Oh no, but I mean like coaching programs and things like that.
No, I didn't mean coaching I meant like picking up a book. Yeah. Let me see what a relationship. You know. So she hasn't gotten to that point yet.
Right. She's visioning, which is clear. She needs clarity in what she's seeking here.
See, but I think, she's doing too much approaching from the way she approached it in her ministry, right? Which works, but sometimes.
Now you got to vision what you want, baby. The wrong thing show up and you think that's for you and that ain't really for you.
Well, we definitely don't want that.
Messed up. Right. No. You go ahead with your visioning and you get this thing right.
Right, because we definitely need to write the first time.
Right. We got no time to be messing around.
As Sherri said, I'm not in my 20s, but we definitely do. But I mean, in really understanding, because in order to vision, right, we're using the visioning, the clarity, the asking, the meditation, but what is the actual work to go hand in hand prior to that? Like in order to vision it and to see it, we have to say, well, what exactly does a healthy relationship look like, right? And not the coaching process, just the initial step forward. And I really want to find and attract that relationship that I see. So come on, what would we? Because to me, Sherri is doing a lot of on the surface stuff to me.
Yeah, she ain't got down to the meat and potatoes yet.
Yeah, I think she don't want the meat. She's still boiling those potatoes.
Yep.
Right? because we say it, and I guess because we say it, and we're gonna do it, but we're not really making that time for it.
Right.
She hasn't put any ingredients on the table yet.
Not yet. But her past has said that that's how she operates. So she visions, then she go get the ingredients, and then she put in the pot.
Don't cover for Sherri. Come on, let her talk. Don't be covering for her. Don't be covering.
I gave you a segue there.
Yeah. So I appreciate the challenge, right? And I receive that, and I think you got a point there.
It took a lot to get that. I think.
Hey, that's growth right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because saying it.
Y'all don't want to talk about manifesting money? Wait.
Manifesting. Manifesting. That's all I'm saying, right? Because we're all about understanding that perfect, whole, and complete is part of the manifesting, right? And saying it and starting it, but actually doing it, are different things. Yeah. So we're gonna make sure that Sherri comes back on with the relationship. But go ahead, Sherri. I know you're getting ready to say something.
No. I'm joking, but and I'm even realizing, like in this moment, like feeling my own discomfort, and it's like that. This is a growing edge. Relationships are a growing edge that by circumstance, being a single mom, being an entrepreneur, the things that are on my plate, it's very easy to like push that aside, right? To not deal with the things that are keeping a relationship away, because there are plenty of single moms in a relationship and there are plenty of entrepreneurs in a relationship.
Which one of these buttons are to clap, honey? Which one? I need that's definitely a growth. I can feel it. That's that growth right there.
Right.
That realization that other women have it, and I'm kind of making it an excuse.
Right. There you go. There you go. And so that is a growing edge. It absolutely is a growing edge. There's a part of me that's a little bit afraid, right?
That's
Just
okay.
a little bit afraid of like putting myself out there. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah.
That's okay, because he's gonna show up. I mean,
I receive it. I receive
oh
it.
yeah, yeah. You got a
Well, she
detailed list.
already knows that because
Yeah.
she's been boiling this pot, so she know the top is out there.
You need to hurry up and put a lid on that thing.
In a minute, right. But and so exactly that was kind of like the point I was getting to, that you can have all those things and find the time for the relationship instead of saying, I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So go ahead, Jason. I'm gonna leave to you because Sherri's like, yep, I'm just gonna.
Good. I'm going to flip the script a little bit because
Okay.
this is a teachable moment for the audience, because everyone's not, Mary, you may be in a long-term dating relationship, right? And you want to know if this is the one. I mean, you could take a lot of these cues
I
that.
hope it's not a long term. They already know it ain't the one if it's long term. if it's past 2 years, you already know.
We're just bringing the information to them, and they need to digest that and look at their relationship for the way that they need to. But anyway, so like I said, so you can take a lot of cues from this. I mean, Reverend Sherri has, it laid out, right? She's visioning and doing all this work, self-work and things.
He's saving her. I think you're saving her right now.
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking to I'm talking to the listener that's out there going, yeah, I haven't found the one either, but I've been doing this. But have you done enough of your work on yourself? I said this in the past. You have to vision. Have you even visioned? I mean, like we went to the conference the other day when we spoke, and we talked about having a vision board for your relationship. We vision everything else, right? We want to manifest money and stuff. So when you want to manifest that relationship, do you have a vision for it? So maybe that's where we start, ladies and gentlemen. We start with visioning how we want our relationships to be.
From top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
But Sherri hasn't visioned everything.
Not yet.
Look at Sherri.
Right.
Sherri like,
she got every room decorated, but we're waiting for the house.
Well, let me ask a question. Let me go ahead and get this coaching.
that's right. There you go. Teaching other ones.
Yeah, no, listen. So here's the thing that I think is powerful and that really changed the game in my life was the day that I stopped being smart and became a student.
Okay, absolutely.
Growing up, I was an A student. I was at, straight A, always at the top of everything. And so the label smart was something I attached my identity to.
Absolutely.
So part of the reason that I can sit in the discomfort of, hey, I hear you.
But you smiling through it real nice.
The reason I can sit in the discomfort and be in that is that I stopped attaching my identity to knowing everything and began to attach it to being a learner. And so what I'm hearing, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, what I'm hearing is that, hey, there's some other things here. And so I'm saying, okay, help me. What do you feel, Miss Tina Marie, that I need to do some additional visioning on? I'm open to that.
No, I don't think it's the visioning. I think it's because it's sort of like they say prayer without work is dead.
Profile.
I think that's the actual start.
That's a start. Because that's a pain point for you.
No,
because
right.
if it wasn't a pain point, you'd have done it already.
Facts. I got 6 more weeks in the quarter. Go ahead.
But see, this is the thing. When you said I'm gonna be a minister, right? Did you say I had 6 weeks to kind of do something? It was like you jumped all in, right? And then you said, okay, this year I want to make sure 2022 doesn't owe me anything.
Right.
But maybe you don't want to get to the end of 2022 and say,
Right.
I owe it something.
Right. Because
Right?
I waited to 6 months before, 6 weeks before it was over, and then I jumped in and did that profile.
So
go ahead and get that profile on out the way.
I think-
You accomplished. What are you waiting for?
See, and you don't believe that you are the complete package.
Yep.
So what is preventing you from taking that step of saying, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do this profile today. I'm going to, because what is up with my mic?
That's you. You get too close.
What the? Oh,
yeah.
oh, because
You're wearing it, baby.
Well, first you tell me I'm too far away from
Right,
it.
and
Okay.
then-
So I would suggest that the vision is good. Everything that you're doing is good.
100%.
It's time to do something.
Yep.
See, you're doing all the internal stuff.
Right.
you haven't done anything in the physical realm.
Right.
Right?
Because that vision look good. That vision look real good.
If Sherri drink on that, anyone what she drinking.
Her thoughts. You can see her thoughts, right?
I can see all of her thoughts going through that straw as she's drinking.
Yes. Go ahead. I'm here.
So
Yeah.
And I think that's it with a lot of successful women, right? They're like, I want the relationship.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like.
Yes.
I've prepared myself for it. I know there's a top out there for me, but for some reason, I haven't done that initial where I'm actually drawn into me. Sherri, come on now. You know everything in your life you have created.
Yes.
And so what has prevented the creation of this relationship?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what are we gonna do, Sherri? What are we gonna do for all those audience out there, all those successful women, especially
they're counting on you, right? We're gonna create that profile.
And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of female ministers out there.
Yeah.
And they know that their strength is not, a man isn't threatened by it, but yet they have not made that time to pursue that for, oh, I'm a minister, I'm busy. Oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, I'm the other. So we're going to tell those ministers out there, as well as successful women and other entrepreneurs, right?
All right.
In order to get that relationship that we know we deserve, that we can have, that is out there, because like you said, if you did, if for nothing else, just the thought of it, right? What are we going to do, Sherri? What are we going to do?
What are we going to do? I'm going to defer to Jason. Jason, what should I do?
The first thing you're going to do that profile. Right?
All right.
So the scariest thing is, like you said before, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right? But you're a public figure. You're already out there.
Yeah.
So, right. It's right. So you just say, hey, listen, I'm going to date it a little bit. We're going to see where it goes. If it evolves. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not looking for the first person to come along. Right. I'm looking for the right person, as you said before. So yeah, let's create the profile since you already had made that, you envisioned it and you made that decision.
Yeah, because I never really thought about a profile.
I wouldn't have never thought about a profile either. but it's a different day and time.
But understand.
The profile part was more of I've never been a club person. And so it's like, how do you put yourself in spaces where you can meet someone? Really,
it's good.
But I'm going to say this. We draw to us, right? We're attracting, right? Don't you go to the grocery store?
I do.
Okay,
go to the grocery store.
Once we make that mental decision to attract it, we don't need a profile.
We really don't.
We honestly,
that's
we
right,
haven't
baby.
really made that mental switch. Right?
Because I showed up, right? Then I showed up. I don't, baby, did you have a list?
I did not have a list.
And I showed up.
Well, so. I knew I had some quality points.
You did have some quality. And you know what? This is the thing. When you run up against somebody, because I was a little intimidated by Tina when I first met her. Right?
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow,
just not much.
35 years till they come out? Wow.
Yeah.
Learn new stuff every day, Sherri.
Every day. That's what we're here to do. We're here to share. Be real.
Okay.
Right. So I was a little intimidated, right? So I knew I had to come with my A game, as much of an A game. I grew up in the inner city of Chicago, so as much of an A game that I could muster, right? So it's some things that I knew that I couldn't say to her, I couldn't interact with Tina Marie as I could with other women, right? So I had to change my approach. So it changed me for a better person. So if I'm interested in her and I approach her, it's different. It's not the same. So like when you're out and someone comes up to you, it's going to be a different type of approach because your whole aura is different, right? They're gonna be
you got to be open, Sherri.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, receptive. I mean, not to every knucklehead, of course not.
But she already. But first of all, she's only going to attract.
But she's only going to attract the business gentleman.
But our point is that you have to see it for what it is,
right?
Instead of just.
And sometimes, and we do that. We close ourselves off because we're looking for that one. But then that one shows up to us, but we look right past it.
Or we haven't really made the mental switch.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
Right.
So you say profile. To me, profile means, all right, so now when I go out, I'm going to be open and receptive. Because if I'm saying one thing in my mind, but I'm not bringing it forth, I'm not attracting it. Right? So the first thing, we can do the profile because that's what she said. That's what she thinks.
Right. We want her to knock that goal down first. Yes.
But I think the second step is actually mentally making the decision.
Yep.
Because I think you wrote it down, we visioned it, but we haven't made that mental decision.
Bring that online profile into real life because you are your walking profile.
Right.
You are who you are, right? So,
Right.
So would you agree that you haven't done that? And I asked that question because, like we said, our show is to teach people, right? It's to help people understand that when we talk about better relationships, we're talking about with our kids, with our spouse, with finding that mate. Because if we're not doing what we need to do, then we can't have that healthy relationship. So people seem to think, well, you're just talking about marriage. Now I'm talking if you want to be married, then this applies to you too, because it's a relationship.
Right.
So what would you suggest successful women like yourself who have high standards, who have vision what they want? What are we doing next? What are we doing in our relationship with ourselves to bring into that relationship that we want in a mate?
So I would put it back as a question to you when you said the mental decision, because that intrigues me, and I'm like, okay, let me think about like what that looks like. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm not sure. So if I could put that back as a question just to ask, what does that mental decision look like? Because like I said, I started this year saying, you know what, this is that year, and here are the steps that I'm going to take. Now, that doesn't mean that my guy is going to come to me through online dating, but it's that I'm taking this step that is communicating my intention.
Okay.
So I think, as I said before, I think we have two parts, right? You have the mental equivalent, where you mentally say, okay, I'm going to do this year, right? We set that goal. But then if I say I'm going to lose weight and I've written it down, I've made my vision board, I've visioned myself a certain size, doing certain exercise, and I know everything, I've done everything in the mental.
Right.
But I haven't put on a pair of sweatpants and I haven't joined up for the gym. It's not
or you haven't changed your eating habits.
Right.
Exactly. It hasn't happened. So when I say that the mental work in the unseen, right? In the visionary world, as opposed to we are still living in the physical world, where we have to physically make that decision.
Sure.
So I have to put the chips, right? Take all the chips and throw them away because I don't have any kids. Right. All right. So now I have to put on those sweatpants and I have to go sign up.
Right.
Because I know I can't do it in my home. Right. If I could lose weight in my home, then I would have done it already. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Sure.
And so we've started the process, but now it's the law of attraction. Now it's the vision has to come to life. What am I doing to actually, in the physical, that I've already done the mental work for? So that's when you haven't made that mental decision, you haven't flipped the switch to say, all right, Sherri, this is it. Do or die.
This is my year.
Yep.
This is it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you're right. Then I guess I gotta go set up that online dating profile.
So you don't have 6 weeks.
Nope.
You got 6
And what are you doing waiting close to the end anyway? You better than that. Come on now.
And we know we haven't done anything in the physical because she's still saying I got 6 weeks. Okay,
Yep. I got 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So let me even ask you this. So is your son a part of anything? Does he play sports? Does he play a music instrument? Does he do anything?
Not right now because of the pandemic. Everything is really shut down, and so they're just starting up track. But now my work schedule is such that I'm not able to take him to those practices. So
okay, because even dropping him off at school instead of just like hitting the gas, you're like, oh, that guy right there looks a little nice. I wonder if he's single. There's because there's a lot of single dads out there.
Right. Facts.
Right. But if we're not in that awareness of what's around us, right? Because we know it's all part of awareness. So we can close ourselves off to what we want by not being open, by not opening that door, open that physical door.
Sure.
Now we got sound effects.
Right, that's got a little squeaky. successful women,
Mm-hmm.
in their minds, they're thinking, okay, I have a lot going on. And now it's like you said, it's a fear factor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of being older, the fear of maybe not attracting exactly what I want. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because I already got it, but I don't. but I'm just saying, like, we have to approach it in a way where it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's natural. We have to think of it as not an online dating, profile, but hey, this is what I'm supposed to do, so let me do it.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's changing our the way we look at it, changing our beliefs,
Yeah.
changing our thought pattern.
Yep.
She doesn't drink that much now, so I think she's okay now. I think she's over the hump.
No, that's because she hasn't said anything. Because every time we ask her something, she picks it up.
Yeah.
So now that we said that, let's talk about the fear factor.
Mm-hmm.
Because
everyone has it.
You're not the only one,
yes.
right?
Yep.
And knowing that it is a fear factor, because we've said before, really just saying that word, the fear, or I'm afraid. We don't really want to say that. We don't want to believe that, but that's actually what it is.
Yeah, it makes us a little uneasy. Yeah.
Right.
It's unknown territory. Yep.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that. Tell us about the fear factor that prevents us from moving forward.
I think that's a powerful thing, right? I think that sometimes it's a fear of rejection, right?
Yes.
That you're moving in the present, but living out of the rejection of the past, right? So I'm
Absolutely.
thinking of relationships that didn't work out the way that you thought that they would have, and not wanting to experience that again. I don't know anybody that wants to run toward pain. I mean,
No.
I'm not that person.
Neither am I. Yeah.
I run towards pleasure. So I know that that's like part of it as well. That just not wanting to be hurt. Not wanting to be hurt and have to then go through all of the things to like release the hurt. And it's like, well, I know how not to do that. Don't go put yourself in a situation where you could be hurt.
Do you think it's vulnerability?
Tell me what you mean a little bit more about
because you said you don't run towards hurt. So things of the past are supposed to teach us about the future, right?
Sure.
Right. So do you think that when you said I want to put myself in that situation, because I'm in such a role where I've displayed strength and I'm doing this, being able to actually lay that down and be vulnerable to the possibility of a relationship is what scares us. I now have to be vulnerable. It doesn't mean I have to be weak.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It doesn't mean I have to be less than myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's meaning like, am I afraid of being vulnerable because of what happened in the past, or can I show that vulnerability and be successful?
Sure. I have to think about that. I'm not entirely sure. Because I don't know that I'm afraid to be vulnerable. I don't feel that.
Okay.
I find that there is sometimes a challenge to trust.
Okay.
And because trust precedes vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In fact,
Absolutely.
I can be weirded out by someone who's vulnerable before trust has been established. Like,
yeah, right. You're like,
you found me.
Absolutely, right.
And so, but quite honestly, it's not even like there has been a relationship to move past that point of trust to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
there hasn't been, like I said, I've been building a business and raising a son. Building a business and raising a son. So the time to even like start to walk down that road to see if there is a space where I can be vulnerable, just honestly hasn't even been there.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I would say that it's finding that person that I can trust to long enough or deeply enough to be open, to be vulnerable, to not have to like, have the armor on. And that just hasn't been, and not for me, like not consciously running away from relationships. Let's say consciously, meaning that like obviously, whatever is not in your life is not there because the consciousness for it is not there, right? The mindset, the
exactly,
habits, beliefs, the whatever. But it's not like that I've been dating and then it didn't lead to something. Haven't been dating, so
that's my point, Sherri. Haven't been dating.
But that's also why I said it's not like somebody, because you mentioned the grocery store. I can't think of one time in the grocery store when I've been approached. Not one time. Like points it.
But
not like,
but I know why.
Yeah, but because
are you people are approaching and I'm like, no, stay away from me. No, that's not what's happening. And that's also why I said, you know what, let me look at the online dating world. It's not something that's attractive to me, but I've got to put myself in the space where dating is happening.
Yep. So
I don't know, Sherri.
Yeah,
I think she's trying.
But you know, it's funny. You could be in a grocery store, but do you look approachable when you're in the grocery store? That's the thing. Yeah, no one comes up. Well,
I have
you look like you're on a mission, and I should not disturb you. So.
And you know what? I am on a mission. I got an hour to get these groceries in, get back, get that kid in the bed. So you absolutely right.
Right. You put a do not disturb on you, right? It's like, yep, I'm in here. I know what aisles I'm going down. I'm gonna hit this, and I'm out. Yeah. So
it's so like she drop them off at school, right?
She like, boom, yep.
Love you.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of what I meant by okay. Me and this mic.
Yep, it's you.
No, maybe I don't know.
Yep.
So it's just kind of I don't know. So, but that's kind of what I meant by vulnerability too.
Sure.
Meaning, not getting to the trust of it. And I totally understand what you're saying, but I mean, being in a space where, like he said, you kind of have a do not disturb sign, which means that I'm not putting myself, like, I'm really not open.
Right.
If that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Sort of in a way.
Right.
Right.
I don't have that friendly vibe as I'm moving through the grocery store.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, I'm on a mission. Look, I got a job I'm like here, there, and I'm out. Just like in the gym, like my sister goes to the gym.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I don't have any gym friends. I was like, well, ain't nobody gonna approach you because you don't
you don't look like you want any gym friends. You don't look friendly.
Right.
But okay, but that is in a relationship. But so moving forward. Because we have to touch on these points as to women do go for coaching, right? They're like, okay, well, what do I do? And to me, we've had specialists on the show who coach successful women, right? And they tell them some of the things they need to do. But in my opinion, dating hasn't changed, right? Dating hasn't changed. I think if you know what you want and you're open to it and you're successfully, actively pursuing it, which means you're trying to attract it to you, you will know it when it shows up. But we have to be open to that. We have to be open to where we can actually see outside the door, right? We can't have the door closed saying, I don't see anything. Well, you got to kind of open it up a little bit.
Right.
And so when I'm saying for women who are moving in that direction, helping them to understand that what do we need to do to have this relationship. And that's when I said, when we talk, tell us a little bit about what the fear is, because maybe they can relate to you. And maybe once you tell us what that fear is, then you can tell us kind of how to overcome it, what we should do to kind of just move forward.
Sure. Well,
I'm not
even sure. Yeah. No. I'm not even sure that I can completely articulate the fear. Right? I'm not sure.
Right.
I mean, I could say fear of rejection, but I'm not even sure I can dial down more than like fear of rejection. And, but I can tell you the antidote to fear anywhere, right? Because that's a principle and that's action. Action is always the antidote to fear. Fear is always you sitting in a feeling or in an emotion. And the moment that you take action, fear literally begins to break up. So
wow, Sherri, that's amazing.
Yep. So here come that online profile. That's what that is. Here come that online profile.
We are using some principles. That is amazing, Sherri.
Yes.
That is so amazing. So,
Yes.
so what else? So what do you think it has anything to do with, like you said, the past, right? Previous relationships, things you haven't actually healed from.
I feel like healing is an ongoing process. And so I don't know if I believe that you, and you can tell me if you feel differently or your experience is different, but I don't know if you heal 100% and then you're in a relationship, right? I believe that relationships are like a crucible for healing, right? There are
Mhm.
things that you come into a relationship with that get healed through the process of making and creating the relationship. At least that's been my experience. So, so I don't know that it is entirely like healed from hurts of the past and then move into a relationship.
Right.
I think that there is freedom from the pain of those experiences
Mhm.
that then open the door. And it maybe letting go of the fear of what happened before is going to happen again.
Right. Living in the past
And
fears.
so I could give my definition.
And you just have to be able to deal with it on both sides, right? Because the
Yeah,
person's coming with hurt as well, right?
right,
And then
right.
when that situation, that perfect storm, when that situation shows up, is how we react during that time to say, no, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. So let me stay present in this relationship and not let my past hurts control what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Sherri said that, but see, I guess I wasn't going to say anything, but to that experience, right?
Mhm.
We have to forgive it. We have to bless it, and we have to let it go.
Sure.
So you can't have a hurt of the past
Mhm.
that you haven't forgiven, healed from, or you haven't forgiven, you haven't blessed it
Mhm.
because it came to teach you something, right?
Right.
And so if we learned from that experience what it was that we did wrong, right? What was the what was the lesson in this blessing, right? What was I supposed to get out of this so that I don't redo it? And that's what I meant by heal from the past. Because
Oh, yeah.
if we truly learn from that experience, and if we haven't, then we're going to repeat it again. So it's not the fear of getting hurt again because we created the hurt, right? We created that experience. So when I say healed from the past, it means that whatever happened in our past relationships,
Mhm.
it cannot happen in our future ones because we have either learned from it, we've let it go, we've blessed it, and so therefore it can't reappear in our lives again. So I wasn't going to say my take on. We have to say
If we know what they are.
we can't
It-
just we
yeah,
can't.
but if we know what they are, you
Oh,
know.
you know what hurt.
No,
Like Sherri said, she's not running to hurt.
Right.
She definitely knows what hurt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we definitely know a hurt
But
relationship.
there's always gonna come a situation that's like, man, I thought I dealt with that back then. I thought I was over that, and then it shows up again.
Only shows up if you didn't learn from it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Only shows up if you didn't learn from it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So and that's what I'm trying to get to when women say, well, I'm afraid that the same thing is going to happen. And then the thing is that we really control what happens in our relationship because either that wasn't the right person, we didn't look at the signs. And as you said, or it was an imbalance, right? He loved me more, I loved him more. Why? So we have to look, if we want true, honest, healthy relationships, we have to look at the things that are preventing us from having them, right? And we can't make excuses for them. We have to say, that was my fault. I got hurt because I didn't either listen to my intuition. I didn't either learn from the first time I got burned, right? And so, right. so if we're moving into healthy relationships and we want them, and people keep saying, you know, as people always say, well, I don't understand why I keep experiencing the same thing. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell someone, we have to do it. We have to do the work of the healing, and healing can be because we're healing from a lot of things, right? So we're gonna bless the situation. We're gonna say, first of all, what did I do wrong? What did I need? What did I need to learn?
What lesson did I need to learn? Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. So part of that fear of recreating that same relationship from the past is understanding that that relationship is in the past. has nothing to do with my future.
Right.
And so, as you said, what gets rid of fear is action. It's moving, right? So I didn't want to get into that because I want Sherri.
Sure you did.
But I want women to realize that don't look at your past relationships. Don't look at somebody else's relationship.
Definitely don't do that.
Right? And definitely don't ask for advice from someone who doesn't have a relationship. Right? What I think you should do is you like, okay, so, but realizing that healthy relationship starts with one, like you said, the vision of what it is I want.
Right. If you know what you want, you can get
but
it.
But not accepting something else when it shows up.
Ooh.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's a huge problem right there. Accepting, what shows up, trying to make it into what you envision.
So and that's what I was trying to get Sherri to understand, the whole picture.
Yeah.
The house, every room, the pot, the potatoes, the top.
Everything.
Everything. And it just any woman who says, I want that relationship, and trying to get them to understand that, the past in the past. If we want this, we have to do the action that's going to create this. Right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So when do you feel as though there's something that you may be still holding on to from a previous relationship that busy is definitely.
Oh yeah.
We definitely understand busy. And so, but making the choice when you said I haven't made the time, choosing to not really deal with it so that we don't have to deal with not having the relationship now. Did I make that?
No.
Okay.
I understand what you're asking.
Okay.
And if I'm just thinking about my own experience, I think that sometimes we can get comfortable with what's uncomfortable.
Okay, that's a very good. Okay, I like that analogy.
So it's my life isn't a routine, right? In terms of like the things that go on in a day, there's schoolwork that happens, and then there's bedtime that happens, and then there's getting up in the morning, and there's the stuff that I do to like get ready for the day. Then there's the work and it's almost like
it's a routine.
Yeah,
it's comfortable.
Right, exactly. And so to then introduce and interrupt is, moving. I'm going to use the analogy of changing houses. Moving from a house, there's a lot of purging that has to go on, right? You can't put everything in the house that you're in to the new house. And moving can be disruptive. And I don't know if anybody who likes moving. I haven't had one moving experience that wasn't like, upsetting the apple cart in some way.
Yes.
Right. Where it's like, God, we have so much stuff. How in the heck did we get that much stuff? Like, when did this happen? Right.
Right.
And so I find that I think about that with me in relationships. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, that there is the house that I know. And while the house that I know may not have everything that I want in it, it is the house that I know. So I would say it's more that, just because I do so much work around personal development, it doesn't really resonate for me to say that I haven't healed from the things of the past or that, right? There's a little bit, and I want to put myself out there, but I put myself out there with so many things. So it's not
right.
Case in point, be willing to have this conversation. Like,
Exactly.
Amen. All right.
Putting myself out there is not really, I don't know if that's quite captures the fullness of it, but there is something to, I know this world and I know the stressors of this world. And the stress of integrating, I love the book title. I'm going to look that book up, Blended to Perfection. The stress of blending, right? Of figuring out how everything fits together, and making sure that nobody slips through the cracks, right? That feels like a climbing Mount Everest kind of thing. And there's a little bit of like, do I really want to like go through that? Right? Is the reward on the other side of what I'm going to go through worth the journey? right? Is that, and maybe in that way, when I think about like past relationships and like, has there been anything that was that exciting that it was worth what I
Right.
I'm gonna say no because you're not in them. So
So yeah, yeah, okay, so it's I'm hearing something. Meaning as I'm having this conversation with you guys, but
Mhm.
it's you reach for what's compelling,
yes.
right? And
Mhm.
I'm thinking that maybe it's not that compelling for me.
But
Okay.
but Sherri, we know that
Mhm.
comfort means there's no growth.
Yeah, no, I'm
Because
growing.
if we're no, you're growing, just not in the area that makes you uncomfortable,
Mm.
right? Because in your business,
That's
you
growth.
have to grow.
In the business.
Exactly.
I'm very uncomfortable in the business. Every day is like a leap of faith. It's like, I gotta buy that and that and that. No,
But you don't stop.
No.
But you never stop to say, is it worth me climbing that mountain?
Absolutely.
Because you see, and that's what I'm trying to get us to successful women, the mindset, right?
Yes.
I'm willing to climb Mount Everest for entrepreneurship
Yes.
to make sure my congregation is getting the principles, to understand that retirees won't be broke, right? We don't give it a second thought when it's not relationships.
Mhm.
Because you just said, well, blending may take a lot.
It may.
And finding that man may take a lot.
It may.
Do I really want to climb Mount Everest,
Yes.
or am I okay with it?
Because the reward is wonderful.
But the point is, why do we stop to think about it when it applies to relationship, but we don't think about how uncomfortable it is in every other situation?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great point. You are absolutely right. We all have revelations here today. Go ahead.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Thank you. But so I'm just gonna leave you with that. You don't even have to answer it. When you finish, you're gonna be like, that darn Tina, I knew I should have said no.
I don't know why I said yes.
That darn Tina Marie, she came on here asking these.
No, I think this is a great conversation to have, and I'm happy to be on the hot seat because y'all have definitely kept my feet on fire. But I think you helped me see something that I think that I don't know that I believe that it's worth it. Right?
Yeah.
Because as an entrepreneur, I'm uncomfortable every day. So it's stretching out there, the leaps of faith that I have to have, making payroll every 2 weeks. Because guess what? People want their check.
Yep.
See,
and they'll be looking at you sideways if you don't have their check. So, and then you're the one that's got to go out and figure out how to. Don't take this wrong way, but this is entrepreneur speak. Kill if you want to eat. Right.
Right.
If he who does not kill does not eat, she who does not kill does not eat. Right. So the discomfort.
Right.
Absolutely. It is every day. And also, being a single mom, there's a lot of discomfort as far as like making sure that he's cared for, that he has what he needs, and is he in the right space, and where are Black boys thriving? Because I want him to be there and all of that. Right?
Yes.
So me being uncomfortable is not it, but I've got a vision for like what is going to be on the other side. And what I heard is that maybe the vision for what I have on the other side for the relationship is not yet great enough for me to take action for it.
Yep. Make you a little apprehensive. Yep.
But
it is.
And that wasn't even the direction I was going with this podcast when we started. But that's just how it ended up, right?
That's how the pot top got on the pot.
But I just hope that in speaking about healthy relationships and being in a position of a very successful woman who understands, who has drive, who's doing all of those things, who has all of those other relationships taken care of, to understand that why am I not actually, putting forth all of those discomforts? Why am I not putting myself out there? Because you're going to get some discomfort. You got to go through some no's in order to get to the yes, right?
And even when you get the yes and you get the ring and all of the other stuff, you still got some discomfort to deal with. Not saying it.
Well, that's what she's saying. That's what she said. She don't know if she want to go through that discomfort.
Yeah, it's going to be some discomfort.
Now she's going to be well prepared. She's gonna read all those books.
Yep. She'll be ready for that, right?
She'll know. She'll know.
It takes some work, Like people say, well, I used to joke and say, man, how you stay married so long? I kept saying, I kept coming home. So that's one way to do it, right? But to be
and I kept saying yes, right? You kept saying yes.
Yep. Okay. And I kept saying yes, yes, dear.
All right.
But the other thing is I had to learn how to be in a relationship. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I knew how to. I was raised by my sisters and my mom and stuff, and my dad was there, and he told me a lot about being a man, but I still had to learn how to be in a relationship. So yeah, I had to take some education. I had to read some books and stuff like that. It didn't just happen. A lot of trial and error. So
yep, and I guess that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah,
I still have to understand how to be in a relationship. I still have to do some action.
Right. Because I definitely didn't have
Great closure.
Yes, it was. Yes. Thank you so much for being out there, Reverend Sherri. We greatly appreciate it.
Putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But I appreciate it. Like I said. So one more time, tell us everything about you. Tell them where they can reach you. Tell them about the church. Tell them all your good info.
Absolutely. So I am the Senior Minister for Understanding Principles for Better Living Church in Los Angeles, California. I am a financial professional with LA's go-to boutique retirement planning firm, EFC Wealth Management. And I'm also the founder of the Sherri James Company, LLC. We're a training company that trains ministers and ministry leaders how not to be broke.
Wow. That's a lot. Yep. There go that profile right there.
I don't know. So, as always,
we're in it to win it.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Lovin' Beyond the I Do podcast. Head over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Legendary Relationship, or visit our website at legendaryrelationship.com. Till next time, remember to make every day count.